So because of this short that I had posted a week ago or so, I realised that I had been taking the easy route and had joined a certain type of cult. A cult that can either be viewed as an obsession, a toxic girlfriend who can't get enough of you and will never see any faults in you, and you can do no wrong. Or the type of cult where people will rage and scream at you when you don't write their name right on their Starbucks cup. But sadly, I had joined the second type of cult. Just in this instance, I joined the cult of hating on Manchester United. Specifically the cult where people throw shade at André Onana for having conceded some howlers and being blamed for United's form in the last 2 seasons, playing as United's main keeper. So what I've decided to do today to escape the cult of angry, sad, no-life people who jump on hate trains just to fit in, and thanks to his contribution and efforts of trying to convince one of the best wingers in the Premier League to join United, I thought it would be a good idea to rank every Manchester United goalkeeper in the Premier League era to see if he's actually as bad as everybody says he is, or if there are other keepers that seemingly have gotten away with it or have just been forgotten. I'll be ranking all the goalkeepers that joined United and played at least a few games and putting them into a tier list and mentioning their achievements with the club and talking about their overall spell at United in the Premier League. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the most obvious and first United goalkeeper of the Premier League era, who is even deemed as one of the best keepers of all time, Peter Schmeichel. In his first season at United, back when it was still called the First Division and there were 22 teams in the league and clubs like Oldham Athletic and Wimbledon FC were still at the top of the game, where Sheffield Wednesday was playing in the Champions League, Peter Schmeichel played 40 games for United that season, keeping 17 clean sheets, and helped Manchester United come second in the division, win the UEFA Super Cup, the League Cup, and probably most noteworthy of all, the European Championship with Denmark. Also, when researching this video, I found out that Aston Villa, Norwich, Blackburn and QPR were in the top 5 that season. Just a little fun fact that I found out. And then, in the first Premier League season, he was one of the main figures that clinched the first of many United Premier League titles, winning another 4 during his time at Old Trafford. Schmeichel was probably most well known for his distribution with his arrowed long throw, and of course being a part of that legendary United team that won the treble in 1999. So yeah, it's pretty obvious where I should place Peter Schmeichel for having achieved so much with United, playing 398 games in total, conceding less than a goal a game and creating 180 clean sheets. Now, off to S tier you go. I'm sure there isn't anything you could do to ruin your legacy. Thank you very much for your service. Next up, we go. After playing phenomenally for United for 8 years, Schmeichel left United, but after a stint at Sporting Lisbon and Aston Villa, he returned to the other side of Manchester, signing for City. But even though there was a bit of rivalry back then, it was mostly viewed as Schmeichel's last payday, and City were definitely not even close to as big as a team as they are now, as Man City had just returned to playing Premier League football, and United still went on to win the league again that year. So you know what? Just because it messes slightly with his legendary status, it didn't mess with his stats, so I'm going to keep him missed here. Next up, we got Gary Walsh. Walsh had joined United in 1985 and made most of his appearances for United when it was still called the First Division. However, once Schmeichel had joined United and shown what asset he is to the team, Walsh's appearances took a hit, and he played like 3 to 5 games a season, mainly in smaller games or when Schmeichel was injured. Walsh ended up playing 13 games in the Premier League for United, conceding 13 goals and keeping 6 clean sheets. So yeah, with that amount of appearances and just a few games to judge him on in the Premier League, I'll put him in category C. Next up, Kevin Pilkington. Pilkington was United's third keeper for a few years in the 90s, barely ever appearing, and out of the 5 times that he did, he kept 2 clean sheets and was only really remembered for fumbling the ball into the back of the net against York City. So, sorry Kevin, gotta put you in D for that one. Next up, Raimond van der Gouw. The Dutchman joined United in their prime, but playing a big part in it wasn't really the case in the first 3 seasons for him, due to the Great Dane. But when he did play, he was reliable. Out of his first 12 games, he only conceded in 4 of those, giving Sir Alex Ferguson the belief that he could replace Schmeichel, who was on his way out. And well, he kinda did. Having signed a main replacement, Van der Gouw was given more playing time, playing 14 games in the 99-2000 season, 4 of them being clean sheets, and only conceding 13 goals, and United winning the league again. And in the next season, he still wasn't promoted to the first keeper though, but decided to stay at the club as the number 2, and in 10 games kept 6 clean sheets when the number 1 at the time wasn't playing. But when the next season came rolling around though, Fergie had had enough and only gave him one more Premier League appearance with a clean sheet, and then got up and left United at 39 years old to join West Ham with the desire for more playing time. So for his reliability, but still not really ever making it, I'm going to put Van der Sar in category B. Next up, Mark Bosnich. Bosnich was Schmeichel's main replacement after his departure, returning to Old Trafford after having played for the Red Devils 10 years beforehand. And even though Bosnich had a good season, conceding 21 goals in 23 games and 11 of those were clean sheets, as well as winning the Premier League title again, Bosnich didn't play another game for the Red Devils after the season was over, even though he was still at United for the coming season. But Fergie later revealed the reason behind it was because Bosnich was a terrible professional, who then decided to join Chelsea on a free transfer. So for impacting United only really for a season, but still being pretty solid, I'm going to keep him in category B as well. Next up, Massimo Taibi. Taibi may have been one of the worst acquisitions United has ever made. After winning the treble, Taibi joined United for roughly 5 million euros at the time, which with inflation is roughly 8.5 million euros in today's money, from Venezia in Italy. He then played 4 games in a row. Being player of the match against Liverpool and Wimbledon was his only positive highlight, but didn't keep a single clean sheet and got the nickname the Blind Venetian after fumbling the ball in a game against Southampton, while in his last appearance for United he let 5 go past him, with Chelsea basically signing off that he will never play again. And he didn't. 10 games later in the January transfer market, Taibi returned to Italy on loan to play for Regina, who then ended up purchasing him as well. So yeah, he had 2 stinkers and statistically was one of the worst, but honestly, outside of the 5-goal destruction United had suffered, I don't think he was the worst keeper ever. Being named man of the match in your first game against your biggest rivals is pretty impressive, and a mistake can happen. But later he also stated that the main reason for leaving Manchester United was due to a serious family issue that was ongoing, but players as well as managers had apparently begged him to stay. So being unable to really judge a player on 4 games where 50% of the time he was the best player on the pitch, I'm going to put him in C, mainly for his short tenure. Next up, Fabien Barthez. The World Cup and recently crowned European champion Fabien Barthez was the signing of the summer for United in the 2000-2001 season, eliminating Van der Sar's hopes of finally becoming the first pick. Barthez was well renowned at the time and proved it, helping United secure another 2 Premier League titles in 3 years, conceding 88 goals in 92 games and totaling 34 clean sheets throughout his Premier League appearances for United. Barthez is also remembered for his outfield play though, coming on as a winger in a friendly game while United was winning 7-1 and dribbling the ball into Derby's half just, because he could, and playing mind games with strikers when they took penalties against him. So, for his role of winning the leagues and being solid between the sticks for 3 years straight, Valdes also goes into the category A for me. Next up, Andy Goram. There's not really much to say. Played 2 games for United while Barthez and Van der Sar were injured, conceding a total of 3 goals in both games and securing a combined 3 points. Then his time was already over. I can't really judge a player on 2 games. I'll put him in C for this one as well. Next up, Roy Carroll. Carroll had joined United in the 01-02 season, mainly as a backup keeper, which was the role he inherited for 3 seasons, until Fergie gave him the promotion in the 04-05 season, repaying the favour for the Gaffer's trust, playing 26 games that season while keeping 15 clean sheets and conceding only 16 goals. And I believe that's more than just extremely decent, as for the past 20 years, only 2 keepers since have been able to equal or top this record. However, he's also remembered for a fumble against Spurs, which is a good funny football fails moment. But in summary, I know you might not agree with me on this one, but I'm going to put him in slot A, a reliable keeper who earned the number 1 spot and did his job well. Next up, Tim Howard. The American was Barthez's replacement after the Frenchman went off to play in the south of France, playing 32 games in his first season at United, but conceding 31 goals during that time, and slowly but surely was falling out of favour. Coming 3rd in the league may have been a reason, which in today's world would probably have been celebrated with an open bus parade, but Howard had less and less appearances for United. After the arrival of the next keeper I'm about to mention, he went on to become a legend at Everton, cementing himself in Premier League history. But first time at United, I'll put him in B. Next up, Edwin Van Der Sar. Joining United for £2 million from Fulham at 34, Van Der Sar is seen as one of the best keepers United has ever had. Maybe it's nostalgia, but that famous reigning Champions League night in Moscow, saving Anelka's shot, or winning 4 Premier Leagues, 2 League Cups, Van Der Sar's importance for United was vital. Every season he had at least 12 clean sheets, keeping a record 22 clean sheets and conceding only 21 goals in the 08-09 season. Van Der Sar was the reliable wall at the end of the pitch for United and troubled strikers for 6 years straight. I mean, looking back now, it's pretty amazing what he was able to accomplish at his age, and it didn't go unrecognised as he was named in the Premier League Team of the Year 3 times. But I'll also add I'm slightly biased as he's the first keeper I remember watching growing up, representing United as the friendly giant. And this is my video, so I'm putting him in S tier as well. Next up, Tomasz Kuszczak. There's not much to say on Kuszczak except for the fact that he was destined to be the backup keeper for United, playing in 6 seasons where he played a total of 32 Premier League games and, to be fair, kept clean sheets in half of those. So, a reliable backup keeper, but was never going to outshine Van Der Sar. For mostly reliable performances, I'm going to put him in B tier. Next up, Ben Foster. Fozzy, or better known as the cycling GK, Foster was also just a Van Der Sar backup, playing 12 games in the Prem for United and doing well when he did play. However, he left after 3 seasons, which is valid when he knew he wasn't taking the Dutchman's spot. Having less appearances than Kuszczak, and even though he was decent, I'm putting him in C due to the amount of games he played and to his short-lived time at United. Next up, David De Gea. Having joined United from Atletico Madrid as a youngster, envisioned to put on the gloves to become the replacement for Van Der Sar, De Gea was instantly seen as a failure. In his first season at United, De Gea got so much hate, it was mental. Everybody believed he was soon to be gone and that he was United's next failed keeper. And even though he won the Premier League in his second season at just 21 years old, his form still wasn't convincing. And up until the 2015-16 era, maybe it was his experience, but suddenly De Gea started playing man of the match performances, saving points, picking up the slack where the defence had left it. And suddenly, after being hated on for years, De Gea became one of the most respected goalkeepers United had ever had to offer, saving United game after game, making unreal saves and becoming integral to the United squad. But sadly, after spending 12 years at United, making 415 appearances in the league, winning 2 Golden Glove awards and being included in the PFA Team of the Year 5 times, De Gea's contract wasn't extended and the Spaniard was left without a club. This is viewed as probably one of the most disrespectful ways to let a legend, an icon, leave the club. But anyways, De Gea is definitely going into the S tier for me, joining United as a youngster, being just 20 years old and leaving a legacy behind at 31. Now throughout those years, De Gea was the main goalkeeper, but I will quick fire a few replacements that stood between the sticks when De Gea was out injured or he was just being rested. Let's start with Anders Lindegaard. Lindegaard was number 2 for 3 years at United, playing a total of 19 league games, 9 of them being clean sheets and conceding 21 goals. So yeah, I mean for number 2, that's alright I guess. Definitely not doing enough to outshine De Gea, so I'll put him in B. Next up, Victor Valdes. The Barcelona legend stayed a Barcelona legend at United, as he didn't do much for the team. The World Cup winner played 2 league games for United, letting in 1 goal. But yeah, knowing that his fellow Spaniard was a confirmed number 1, he dipped to the Belgium League after only 6 months, and only a half a year later signed for Middlesbrough. D for lack of commitment, but I'll put him in C as I feel sorry for him, because thanks to him, Scholes scored one of the greatest Champions League ever to this day. Sergio Romero stayed at United for 3 seasons, being a more reliable option, and when he was called up, United felt like they were in safe hands. Even though he barely had any league appearances, Romero played a key role in the FA Cup win in the 15-16 season and the League Cup and Europa League in the 2016-17 campaign. For that, I'll put him in B. Dean Henderson, who was a Carrington graduate, went out on loan so many times it's actually quite impressive the amount of teams that he has played for in my opinion, but he was the only keeper who could potentially have challenged De Gea for the number 1 shirt. But De Gea in that 2021 season was just in his absolute prime, and there's not much you could have done to take his place. He played 13 games for United that season, making 5 clean sheets and conceding only 12 goals in 13 games, but knowing he wasn't going to be in the starting lineup every week, Henderson went off on loan again, this time joining Forest and then signing for Crystal Palace as the number 1. I really want to put him in A, but I don't know, just doesn't feel right. But you know what? It's my video, so I'm putting him in A. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The one, the only, André Onana. Yeah, after De Gea's contract wasn't extended, Onana joined United from Inter Milan, becoming United's most expensive keeper of all time for roughly 50 million euros. And yeah, looking at his past 2 years in the Premier League, it's not looking good, having conceded over 100 goals in about 70 games. And yeah, he had some blunders, and yeah, there were times where he missed up, but do you know that Onana last season had better statistics than De Gea did in the 21-22 season, and only conceded a goal more in his first season compared to De Gea's worst? Onana may have not been the greatest, but man, neither was his defense or his team. The difference why it wasn't so visible with De Gea is that his strikers at the time were actually scoring. Onana's weren't. Also, I believe being a keeper has a lot to do with mental strength, and just like De Gea did, it takes time to grow into your role, and having already seen the strength from Onana, being able to return to the pitch and behaving like nothing had happened last week takes some serious balls. So yeah, he may have had a rough first 2 seasons, but I believe there's more to come from the Cameroonian. So for this, I'm going to put him in the B tier, and hopefully watch him pull himself up to at least the A category. So yeah, finally, here's the end result of my ranking of all of Manchester United's keepers to see how bad Onana really is. And yeah, turns out there are quite a few that have had worse times at Old Trafford, and I hope this doesn't jinx Onana next season, but also puts into perspective that the hate that he has been getting really isn't deserved, and it's kind of just a bandwagon that people are jumping on. So thanks Sandernista6499 for pointing this out in the short that I had made, and keep commenting things and interacting with the channel, as I really do love talking and interacting with you guys, taking your video ideas or your opinions and making a video out of it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to see more videos like this, comment what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!